Have you ever met someone whose silence speaks louder than words? Someone who walks into a room and without saying a thing, changes everything? That's not coincidence. That's Scorpio. But here's the shocking truth. Scorpio isn't just a zodiac sign. It's a cosmic design. A soul blueprint crafted for transformation. Not everyone is ready to hear that. But you're here, so maybe you are. Have you ever wondered why Scorpios are drawn to pain, yet rise stronger every time life tries to break them? Why their love feels like both heaven and fire? Why they trust so few, yet give everything once they do? Today, you're about to discover the real reason. Not just common traits, not surface-level descriptions. But the sacred psychology of Scorpio. Their divine mission in this life. And the secrets that make them one of the most misunderstood, yet powerful souls in the zodiac. Before we dive deep, take a second to subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you're curious about yourself, or the Scorpio in your life. And share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because what you're about to learn might change the way you see them forever. Let's begin. Have you ever felt like pain was following you, like no matter how much you tried to avoid it? Life kept leading you back into the fire? Maybe you've wondered why some people seem to break, while others rise stronger every single time. If that sounds familiar, you might carry a Scorpio soul, or maybe you're walking alongside one without even knowing it. Scorpio isn't built to avoid pain. Scorpio is built to transform through it. That's why their life often feels like a cycle of destruction and rebirth. Think about it. How many times have you met someone who loses everything, yet rebuilds quietly? Even stronger than before? They don't complain. They don't explain. They just evolve. This isn't a personality trait. It's soul design. Scorpios are crafted to turn wounds into wisdom. They don't see pain as punishment. They see it as preparation. Every heartbreak, every failure, every betrayal. All of it becomes fuel. Not for revenge, but for becoming something more. So if you're in pain right now, remember this. You're not being broken. You're being rebuilt. And that brings us to something few understand about Scorpios. They hold power not because they control others, but because they control themselves. Emotional sovereignty. That's the real secret. A Scorpio woman knows this better than anyone. She doesn't react just because someone provokes her. She doesn't chase validation. She doesn't explain herself when she feels misunderstood. She chooses when to speak. She chooses when to walk away. And when she does, it's final. But how does this apply to you? Think of the last time you reacted without thinking. The last time someone hurt you, and you gave them your energy, your anger, your peace. Scorpio teaches us that real power isn't in winning arguments. It's in mastering our reactions. It's in knowing that not everyone deserves your energy. So next time, pause. Don't respond just because someone demands it. Choose silence if it protects your peace. That's emotional sovereignty. That's how Scorpio moves. And while we're on the subject of identity, let me ask you something. Do you believe who you are today is who you're meant to be forever? Or do you feel like something inside you is always changing, evolving, shedding old layers? Scorpios understand this more than most. Because their entire existence is built on the cycle of psychological rebirth. To them, identity isn't fixed. It's fluid. It's evolving. One year, they might be the quiet observer. The next, they become the leader everyone turns to. Not because they faked it, but because they allowed themselves to die and be reborn. In career, in relationships, in their own mindset. This is why Scorpios never truly fit in. They're always changing. And that unsettles people. But it's also their greatest strength. Think of your own life. What part of your identity are you clinging to, that no longer serves you? Is there a version of yourself that needs to be let go? Scorpio reminds us, letting go isn't failure. It's transformation. And sometimes, that transformation happens in silence. Scorpios need solitude. And not because they're antisocial, but because solitude is where they meet themselves. Have you ever noticed how some people always need noise? Music playing, notifications buzzing, conversations just to fill the silence. Scorpio is different. They crave the quiet. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's necessary. In silence, they confront their own darkness. They reflect. They process. They heal. But here's something important. Solitude isn't always peaceful. Sometimes, it feels like drowning in your own thoughts. Scorpios know that. They know that facing yourself isn't easy. But they also know that's where real growth happens. So if you find yourself isolating, if you're pulling back from people, ask yourself why. Maybe your soul is asking you to pause, to go inward, to listen. That's not weakness. It's sacred work. And remember, even in those darkest moments, Scorpio energy doesn't abandon you. It molds you. It prepares you. It sharpens you into someone who's not just surviving, but mastering your own depths. This is why, when a Scorpio returns from solitude, they're never quite the same. They come back wiser, stronger, quieter, but clearer. And that's a lesson we can all take. Sometimes, the most powerful transformations happen in silence. Away from the crowd. Inside your own soul. Because in the end, Scorpio doesn't fear the darkness. They learn how to carry their own light through it. And maybe, so can you. There's something about Scorpio energy that most people misunderstand. On the surface, they seem guarded, hard to read, maybe even distant. But if you've ever been loved by a Scorpio, you know the truth. Their love is anything but cold. It's fire. But it's not a fire that burns everything recklessly. It's a fire they protect, and offer only when they feel it's safe. Behind every Scorpio's seductive charm lies a heart that craves something most people overlook. Real connection. Not attention. Not admiration. But something deeper. They don't want to be desired. They want to be understood. Picture this. Someone meets a Scorpio woman. They're drawn to her mystery, to her presence. They try to get close, thinking charm is enough. But she doesn't open up. She watches. She waits. And eventually, she pulls away. Why? Because she felt the difference. She felt the surface level energy. And Scorpios don't live on the surface. Here's the truth most people miss. Scorpios are not trying to test you. They're trying to protect themselves. Their energy is sacred. And they've been hurt enough to know, not everyone deserves access. So what can you learn from that? It's simple. In your own life, stop giving your heart to people who only see your surface. Value your depth. Protect your energy like it's gold. Because it is. Now, let's talk about something that makes Scorpios truly unforgettable. Their silence. Imagine this. Someone hurts you. Most people would yell, cry, explain how they feel. But Scorpio? They close the door. Quietly. Permanently. Their silence isn't a punishment. It's a decision. See, when Scorpio feels betrayed, they don't need closure. They don't seek explanations. They simply vanish. And here's why that matters. In a world where people constantly chase after validation, Scorpio teaches the opposite. That loving yourself enough to walk away is the highest form of respect you can give yourself. This isn't about being cold. It's about understanding that not everyone deserves your forgiveness. Because forgiveness isn't about letting people back in. It's about setting yourself free. So next time you're tempted to chase someone who broke your trust, remember Scorpio's lesson. Let silence speak for you. And let your absence be your answer. Now, let's go even deeper. Because behind all that intensity lies something most people never see. Scorpio women are healers. But not in the traditional sense. Their healing comes through connection. Through intimacy. And I'm not just talking physical. For Scorpios, intimacy is spiritual. Have you ever looked someone in the eyes and felt like they could see right through you? That's what being with a Scorpio feels like. When they connect, it's full. It's soul to soul. Their touch isn't just about passion. It's about transformation. It's about awakening something inside you that maybe you didn't even know was there. But here's the catch. They don't offer this to everyone. Because real connection requires real trust. And trust, for a Scorpio, is sacred. So what does this mean for your own relationships? Ask yourself. Are you connecting or just interacting? Are you touching someone's body or their soul? Because Scorpio shows us, love isn't casual. It's transformational. And you deserve to experience that depth too. Finally, let's talk about something that seems small. But for Scorpios, it's everything. Time alone. Think about it. When was the last time you sat in silence? Without music. Without scrolling. Without distraction? For Scorpio, solitude isn't loneliness. It's a necessity. When life gets overwhelming, when emotions become too loud, they don't seek comfort in crowds. They seek themselves. In solitude, Scorpios aren't avoiding the world. They're meeting themselves. They're asking hard questions. They're healing in ways no one else sees. And yes, sometimes that isolation feels heavy. Even painful. But that's where the real transformation happens. So here's your reminder. If you're pulling back from others, if you feel the urge to be alone, honor that. It's not weakness. It's your soul asking for space to grow. Don't fear solitude. Use it. Let it cleanse you. Let it sharpen you. Let it remind you who you really are, without the noise of the world. Because when Scorpio returns from solitude, they return stronger, clearer, and ready to evolve. And maybe that's exactly what you need too. But this is just the beginning. Because the next part of this video reveals the 3 most powerful, most controversial truths about Scorpio. And once you hear them, you might never see yourself or the Scorpio in your life the same way again. Have you ever met someone who senses when you're lying, even before you finish your sentence? Who looks at you, smiles gently, but inside, already knows what you're hiding? That's Scorpio. And no, it's not a trick. It's not something they learn. It's a gift. Scorpio's ability to sense lies is part of who they are. From the first moment they meet you, they're not listening to your words. They're listening to your energy. To the pauses between your sentences. To the nervous laugh you didn't notice. To the way your eyes shift when you avoid the truth. This is why you can't fool a Scorpio woman. Even if she doesn't say anything, she already knows. It's not just intuition. It's divine discernment. And that's why, with Scorpio, honesty isn't optional. It's the entry point. You might think being honest makes you vulnerable. But with Scorpio, that's the only way they'll respect you. They don't need perfection. They need truth. So ask yourself, in your relationships, are you being fully honest? Or are you wearing a mask, hoping someone will love the version of you that isn't real? Scorpio teaches us, take off the mask. Say what's real. Because it's the only way to connect soul to soul. Now let's talk about a connection most people underestimate. Scorpio with Scorpio. Imagine two souls who both feel deeply, love fiercely, and guard their hearts like temples. When they meet, the energy is electric. You'll feel it before either of them says a word. It's like two magnets snapping together. But here's the catch. Beneath the passion is fear. Both Scorpios fear betrayal more than anything. And when both carry that fear, trust becomes fragile. This connection can be life-changing. When two Scorpios trust each other, they create a bond that's almost unbreakable. They don't just love. They transform each other. They heal each other. They build each other into their highest versions. But if trust is broken, the destruction is as intense as the passion once was. It's not slow. It's total. This is why Scorpio relationships, especially with another Scorpio, are never casual. They're spiritual tests, sacred lessons, and often a mirror. Because your Scorpio partner will reflect your shadows back to you. They'll challenge your limits. They'll force you to grow or walk away. If you're in a Scorpio relationship right now, understand this. It's not meant to be easy. It's meant to be real. It's meant to change you. So nurture that trust. Protect it like it's something sacred. Because for Scorpio, it is. And now, let's go even deeper. Loyalty. To Scorpio, loyalty is everything. But not in the way most people think. For Scorpio, loyalty isn't just about staying faithful. It's about standing beside someone when life gets hard. When things fall apart. When no one else is there. Scorpios don't need constant praise. They don't need grand declarations. They need proof. In your actions. In your consistency. In the quiet moments when staying is harder than leaving. Loyalty isn't a promise to them. It's a pattern. If you show up, if you stay steady through their storms, they'll give you a version of themselves no one else gets to see. A version that loves without limits, without conditions, without end. But break that loyalty, and there's no return. Because when Scorpio closes the door, they don't open it again. This might sound harsh, but it's not punishment. It's protection. It's self-respect. Think about your own life. How many times have you stayed loyal to someone who wasn't loyal to you? Scorpio teaches us. Don't confuse attachment with loyalty. Don't give endless chances to people who show you inconsistency. Value yourself enough to choose peace over chaos. And now, we reach something most people never even realize about Scorpio. Their instincts. They're not logical. They're not learned. They're sacred. Scorpios know things. They sense shifts before they happen. They feel danger before it arrives. While others get lost in confusion, Scorpio stays calm, focused. Because their instincts aren't ordinary. They're divine protection. Imagine walking through life with an inner compass that quietly pulls you away from people who mean harm. From situations that could break you. That's Scorpio energy. They move in shadows but always see the light. Not just for themselves, but for others too. Scorpio's instincts don't just protect them. They protect everyone they love. If you've ever had a Scorpio warn you about someone, trust them. Even if you don't see it yet, they do. They're not guessing. They're knowing. So what can you learn from this? Listen to your gut. Stop ignoring that quiet voice inside that tells you something isn't right. Because that's your own inner Scorpio trying to speak. And in this world, trusting your instincts might be the most powerful form of protection you have. But don't think this is where the story ends. Because what's coming next are the 3 deepest, most controversial truths about Scorpio energy. And they might just challenge everything you thought you knew about yourself and about the people you let into your life. Have you ever noticed how some people drift through life, lost in their thoughts, worrying about the future, stuck in regrets from the past? But then there are those who feel fully alive in the moment. Present. Focused. Grounded. That's Scorpio. Even though they belong to the water element, they're not dreamers like Pisces or emotional drifters like Cancer. Scorpio stays rooted. They observe life with sharp, steady eyes. They listen carefully. They feel everything, but they never lose themselves in the flood. This is one of the secrets that gives them their quiet power. While others waste time imagining how things could be, Scorpio faces what is. They know that the present moment is where real life happens. And they don't want to miss it. Maybe you've seen this in yourself. Or maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you find yourself overthinking the past, replaying old conversations, wondering what you should have done. Or maybe you're always planning, worrying about what's next. But life isn't lived in yesterday. And it doesn't wait for tomorrow. Scorpio energy reminds us, slow down. Breathe. Be here. In this conversation. In this feeling. In this exact second. Because when you ground yourself in the now, something incredible happens. You notice details you missed before. You hear what people really mean. You sense opportunities you couldn't see while you were distracted. That's how Scorpios survive chaos. By staying present. By grounding themselves in reality, not fantasy. And maybe that's a lesson your soul needs right now. But even Scorpios don't always walk alone. There's a certain connection that aligns with them like no other. And it might surprise you. It's Virgo. Two signs that, on the surface, seem so different. Virgo, the perfectionist. Logical, always searching for order. Scorpio, intense, emotional, driven by instinct. Yet, when these two meet, something cosmic happens. Virgo's calm balances Scorpio's fire. Scorpio's depth awakens Virgo's emotions. Together, they build something neither could build alone. This connection isn't about surface attraction. It's not about sweet words or physical chemistry. It's about balance. About two souls who find in each other what they didn't even know they were missing. Scorpio learns to trust Virgo's steady presence. And Virgo discovers the beauty of surrendering to emotion. Of letting go of control. It's a reminder that sometimes, the person who balances your soul isn't who you expected. And real connection doesn't come from what looks right on paper. It comes from what feels right to your soul. Maybe there's someone in your life right now who grounds you, someone who challenges you, someone who holds space for your darkness while standing steady in their own light. Cherish them. Because soul alignment isn't common. It's rare. It's sacred. And when you find it, you'll know. Now, let's talk about something few people understand when it comes to Scorpio love. It's not easy to win a Scorpio's heart. But when you do, something incredible happens. Their affection isn't casual. It's not given lightly. It's something you feel. In the way they listen to you. In the small, quiet ways they care for you. In the way they protect your secrets, your dreams, your soul. To the outside world, Scorpio may seem distant. But to the one they choose, they give everything. Every look, every word, every moment spent together becomes meaningful. Because Scorpio doesn't love halfway. They love with intention. With purpose. With depth. If you're loved by a Scorpio right now, don't take it for granted. Because you're holding something rare. Something precious. But if you've never been loved by a Scorpio, let this be your reminder. Don't chase shallow affection. Wait for the kind of love that feels like home and fire all at once. Because you deserve that depth too. And for Scorpios listening, protect your heart. But when you find someone who sees you, really sees you. Let them in. Because your love is a healing force. And someone out there needs it more than you know. Finally, let's speak about something that shapes every Scorpio's journey. Their guarded soul. People often see it as coldness. But it's not. It's protection. From childhood, Scorpio learns that not everyone can be trusted. They learn early that people lie. That not everyone who claims to care actually stays. So they build walls. Not because they hate people, but because their soul is too deep, too sensitive, to be left unguarded. This guardedness becomes their strength. It becomes their compass. It's why they see what others miss. Why they sense the truth before it's spoken. And it's why they often choose paths where truth matters more than anything. Many Scorpios become therapists, detectives, healers, researchers. They go into the shadows to find the truth. Because they're not afraid of what's hidden. They're afraid of pretending everything's fine when it's not. So if you know a Scorpio who seems distant, don't push them to open up. Be patient. Be real. Show up. And over time, you might find yourself standing inside their walls, trusted, respected, and loved in ways few people will ever understand. For yourself, remember this. Your guarded heart isn't something to apologize for. It's a temple. And not everyone deserves entry. But when the right person comes, you'll know. Because your soul will feel safe. And that's the moment when transformation begins. Now, are you ready? Because what comes next are the final 3 truths. The most powerful, the most personal, and possibly the most misunderstood. And once you hear them, you'll never look at Scorpio the same way again. Some people give up easily. They start a dream and stop halfway. They say they love, but leave when it's hard. They lose once and never try again. But not Scorpio. Persistence isn't a trait for them. It's who they are. It's the fire in their soul that refuses to die. When a Scorpio wants something, whether it's love, success, or inner peace, they'll pursue it with a focus so pure, so intense, it feels almost unbreakable. They don't move fast. They move deeply. They're not here for quick wins. They're here for the long game. Think of someone who's failed, but stood back up, stronger. Think of someone who's been betrayed, but didn't let it harden their heart. Think of someone who's transformed after pain, not just once, but over and over again. That's Scorpio. Because for them, life is transformation. It's cycles of death and rebirth. It's shedding what no longer serves. It's rising when the world expects you to stay down. And maybe you've felt that too. Maybe you've been through things that tried to break you. But deep down, something inside said no. Not yet. Not like this. That voice inside you? That's your inner Scorpio. And it's reminding you, you were not built to quit. You were born to overcome. So whatever you're fighting right now, whatever dream you're chasing, whatever healing you're seeking, don't stop. Don't settle. Persistence isn't just about hard work. It's about knowing your soul was designed to rise. Again and again. And that brings us to perhaps the most sacred truth about Scorpio. Their heart is a fortress. Not everyone gets in. Not everyone deserves to. But inside that guarded heart is the softest, most powerful love you'll ever know. People misunderstand Scorpio's mistrust. They call it coldness. They say Scorpio is distant, closed off, hard to love. But look closer. That wall they build? It's not to keep everyone out. It's to protect something sacred within. Their emotions. Their soul. Their truth. Scorpio was born with emotional depth most people can't handle. That's why they test people. Why they observe silently. Why they let time reveal who's real and who isn't. And when they finally open up to you. When they finally trust you. Understand. You are standing in a place few will ever reach. Their love isn't casual. It's sacred. Scorpios read the world like a psychologist. They spot hidden motives. They sense unspoken fears. It's not suspicion. It's survival. Because in a world full of masks, Scorpio was born to search for the soul. If you're lucky enough to be trusted by a Scorpio, honor that trust. Protect it. Because you've been invited into their sacred inner world. And once you're there, you'll see a side of them no one else gets to know. And if you're a Scorpio listening to this, never apologize for protecting your heart. It's not a flaw. It's your wisdom. It's your divine protection. And one day, someone will thank you for making them earn their place inside your walls. So now, let's breathe. We've reached the end of this journey. But maybe it's the beginning of yours. What have you discovered today? That Scorpio is not just a zodiac sign. It's a soul blueprint. A story of strength, depth, and transformation. It's a reminder that life will break you. But you can choose to rise. To protect your heart. And still love with your whole soul. And maybe, just maybe, you've seen yourself somewhere in this story. Not just as a Scorpio, but as someone who carries the same scars, the same fire, the same need to be seen, loved, and understood. If this video touched something inside you, if you saw yourself or someone you love, don't let the story stop here. Subscribe to the channel. Because this is just the beginning. There's so much more waiting for you. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone who's healing, someone who's been misunderstood, share this video with them. Because sometimes, hearing the right words at the right moment is what changes everything. Thank you for being here, for listening, for feeling. And until we meet again, remember, your soul was never meant to stay small. Let it rise. Let it transform. And let it burn bright. I'll see you in the next video.